All right, let's dive into a sibling rivalry that's way more than just good versus evil. This is about a clash of ideas, a war of philosophies, all wrapped up in the story of Vampirella and her twin sister Draculina. And that question, right there, is the heart of this entire story. See, both sisters went through the exact same manipulative, awful upbringing under their mother Lilith. But when faced with that shared pain, the choices they made sent them down completely different and totally explosive paths. So on one side, you've got Vampirella. She decides to master her suffering, to control it, and become a force for order, the monarch of control. And on the other side, her sister, Draculina, who lets that suffering completely consume her, embracing it to become the paragon of chaos. To really get what this war is about, we have to go back to the single moment where their paths just split. And it all kicks off with this parasitic thing that was literally born from their shared trauma. Okay, so as Vampirella is leveling up, becoming the Twilight Monarch, she goes through this massive personal change. She makes a conscious choice to just shed all of it, all the resentment, the anger, the pain from her past with Lilith. But here's the thing, that pain didn't just disappear. It took on a life of its own, becoming a physical, monstrous creature. And this, right here, lays it all out so clearly. Vampirella rejects her past trauma. She casts it out. But Draculina, she stumbles upon this raw, angry power and doesn't see something to destroy. She sees a weapon. So she willingly merges with it, becoming the living embodiment of the very chaos her sister fought so hard to escape. That one decision basically kicks off the ideological war that defines their whole relationship. This isn't just a physical fight anymore, it's a full-blown debate about the right way to live after you've been through hell. And wow, this table just breaks it down perfectly, doesn't it? For Vampirella, trauma is a forge. You take control of your story, and you use the strength you gained with purpose. But for Draculina, trauma is your entire identity. You let it define you, and you unleash its power with zero restraint, just looking for payback. One wants to heal the world's chaos. The other, well, she just wants to amplify it. So if you're looking at this from Draculina's side, Vampirella isn't free at all. She sees her sister's new sense of purpose, her responsibility, as just another prison. To her, being a hero is just another form of slavery, a different kind of leash than the one their mother used. But Vampirella's comeback cuts deep. She basically says, you think I'm trapped? You're the one who's truly trapped. By letting that resentment demon call the shots, Draculina isn't making choices. She's just reacting, forever a slave to old wounds. Real freedom, according to Vampirella, is choosing your own way forward, not being dragged around by ghosts. Okay, so this whole philosophical war, it doesn't just stay in their heads. It spills over into a very real, very dangerous fight, and it finds a literal battleground. And what are they fighting over? These things called the mirror shards. They're basically psychic fragments of their mother's power, scattered all over the place. And each one has this immense energy that can either heal reality or twist it into a complete nightmare. And their missions, you guessed it, perfectly reflect their philosophies. Vampirella, the monarch of control, wants to find and purify the shards to fix things, to restore order. Draculina, the paragon of chaos, is hunting them down to corrupt them, using them to crank her own dark magic up to 11 and spread even more pain. So, of course, this all builds up to a massive showdown. But this isn't just sister versus sister. Vampirella has to literally fight the embodiment of her own discarded resentment, which is now wearing her sister's face. Talk about intense. To win this fight, Vampirella uses this incredible, unique ability called the Black Light Fire. Now, this is so important to get. This power isn't about blowing things up. Its whole purpose is to purge, to purify. She's not trying to kill Draculina. She's trying to sever that parasitic link between her sister and the resentment demon. And the result is, well, it's stunning. Draculina isn't defeated in the way you'd think. Instead, for the first time in forever, that constant, screaming noise of raw resentment in her head just stops. She's left totally alone with her own thoughts and the crushing weight of her own actions. In that sudden, deafening silence, bam, it hits her. She finally understands what Vampirella was saying. All this time, she thought she was free, but now she sees she was just a different kind of slave to their past, nothing more than a puppet for a parasitic emotion. But here's the twist. This moment of truth, it doesn't break her, and it doesn't magically redeem her either. Instead, it sends her down a completely new and way more interesting path. And Vampirella, she doesn't go in for the kill. Instead, she offers a truce, acknowledging that they're both in this struggle. The challenge she gives her sister is pretty profound. She doesn't ask Draculina to become good or to become like her. She tells her to find her own way, to finally master her own chaos. So what does Draculina do? She says no to the truce. She's not ready to be an ally. But she doesn't start fighting again either. She just leaves. She sets off on this new journey to figure out who she is without Lilith, without Vampirella, without the resentment. And this is the birth of Draculina, the anti-villain. And that's where their story leaves us, with this really tough question. It suggests that maybe the line between a hero and a villain isn't so clear-cut. Maybe it's something more personal, a constant, difficult choice we all have to make about the pain that shapes us. Do we control it, or do we let it control us?